The rain poured heavily as a young man sat alone on a worn-out park bench. His shoulders were slumped. His eyes stared blankly at the ground. Around him, the city moved on as if his struggles didn't exist. He had tried everything, or at least that's what he believed. He had started businesses that failed, applied for jobs that never called back, made promises to himself that he couldn't keep. Every failure became another voice inside his head. You're not good enough. You're always behind. You'll never succeed. The strange thing was, no one else was saying these words anymore. His own mind had become his greatest enemy. Every morning began with doubt. Every opportunity looked like another chance to fail. Every dream seemed too far away. One afternoon, while walking aimlessly through the city, he noticed an elderly gardener quietly trimming plants in a peaceful garden. The gardener worked slowly, carefully, patiently. There was something different about him. Despite the noise of the city, he looked completely at peace. Curious, the young man walked over. "Can I ask you something?" he said. The gardener smiled. "Of course. Why does life seem so hard? Why does it feel like no matter how much I try, I always lose?" The gardener looked at him for a moment before pointing toward two small trees growing side by side. "Do you see those trees?" The young man nodded. They were planted on the same day. They received the same sunlight, the same rain, the same soil. But look closely. One tree stood tall, its branches stretching confidently toward the sky. The other leaned awkwardly, its leaves thin and weak. "What made the difference?" the young man asked. The gardener smiled. It wasn't what happened around them. It was what happened beneath them. The stronger tree had deeper roots. It could withstand storms because it had spent years growing where no one could see. Then the gardener turned toward him. "Your life works the same way. You spend so much time trying to change your circumstances that you've forgotten to strengthen the one thing that controls them. Your mind." The words lingered in the air. "For years," the gardener continued, "you've allowed fear to make your decisions. You believe every negative thought. You replay every failure. You predict defeat before you've even begun. You've trained your mind to expect the worst. And a mind trained for defeat will always find reasons to quit." The young man lowered his head. Everything the gardener said was true. "So how do I change?" he whispered. The gardener picked up a handful of tiny seeds. "Every thought you plant becomes something. Plant doubt, and you'll harvest fear. Plant excuses, and you'll harvest regret. But plant courage, discipline, gratitude, and hope, and your life will begin to change." The gardener handed him one tiny seed. "This seed isn't special. What matters is how faithfully you care for it." The young man went home carrying that tiny seed. But something else had changed. For the first time in years, he decided to change his thoughts before trying to change his life. The next morning, when the familiar voice whispered, "You'll fail again," he answered, "Maybe, but I'll try anyway." When laziness said, "Skip today," he replied, "Discipline doesn't take days off." When fear whispered, "You're not ready," he smiled. Growth begins before readiness. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. Nothing changed overnight. But slowly, his habits changed. His confidence grew. He exercised every morning. He read books instead of scrolling endlessly through his phone. He replaced complaints with gratitude. He stopped comparing himself to others. Most importantly, he learned to speak to himself like someone worth believing in. People around him began noticing. "You've changed. You seem happier. You look confident." They thought success had changed him. They didn't realize his mind had changed first. Then came the opportunity he had always wanted. Years earlier, he would have turned it down, convinced he wasn't good enough. This time, he accepted, not because fear had disappeared, but because it no longer controlled him. The opportunity became another, then another. Slowly, the life he had dreamed about began to unfold. One evening, he returned to the same garden. The gardener was still there, watering the trees. "I finally understand," the young man said. The gardener smiled. What do you understand? The biggest battle wasn't with money. It wasn't with failure. It wasn't with other people. It was with the voice inside my own head. The gardener nodded. Exactly. The strongest prison has no walls. It's built by the thoughts we choose to believe. And the greatest freedom comes when we learn to master them. Years later, people admired the successful life the young man had built. They praised his discipline, his confidence, his achievements. Few knew that the greatest victory had happened long before any success arrived. It happened on the day he stopped letting fear lead his life. Because the moment you master your mind, you stop becoming a victim of your circumstances. You become the author of your future. Remember this, every dream begins with a decision. Every success begins with a thought. Every great life begins with a disciplined mind. The world around you may not change overnight. But when you change the way you think, you change the way you live. And when you master your mind, you truly master your life. Rise above. Stay focused. Never settle.